Welcome back to 3 and Out. I'm Ryan Orlovsky with Brian Carter. For one last time, we'll open our inbox and read your email questions.
All right, let's.
First email. First email is from Tim. What are your thoughts about the football players who were lost on the boat in Florida? It's a horrible story. It's something that, nobody really likes to see. These are former South Florida football players, NFL football players now, and they weren't really doing anything wrong. They were going out fishing. It was just kind of a freak accident that happened. Their anchor got caught, their boat filled with water, and these guys were just lost at sea.
Yeah, it was very tragic. Just the one survivor there, and the 63-degree water, they said that guy probably would have died within the next couple of hours. So the Coast Guard searched all they could, did everything they could, and there were some private searches going on with other NFL players who were pitching in. It's sad, but anytime you take on the sea, you're asking for some trouble. Next email is going to be
from Kale.
Yours.
Who is the best short track driver in all of NASCAR?
You get a lot of
I always get this NASCAR stuff, but I did my research, and I got to go with Jeff Gordon or Rusty Wallace. It's going to be a veteran that's going to get the crown, and I think that no rookie really is credible for what Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace have done. These are great short track drivers, and I just don't see anybody else getting it.
Yeah, I agree with you. At Bristol, you think of short track, you think of Bristol, and right off the bat, everyone knows Jeff Gordon owns that track. He's got 5 wins at Bristol. Our next email is going to be from Luke. It says, is the Gwinnett Braves being so close to Atlanta going to make the Atlanta Braves a better team? I'm going to have to say no, because it's not about proximity. It doesn't matter how close you are.
It's just going to be more convenient.
Yeah, it's going to be more convenient, so it's an easier trip for someone like Francoeur if he has to go back to the minors. Yeah. He's going to just have to drive right up the road. On the other hand, it's going to make no difference, but it's also going to bring good publicity, I think, to the AAA team, the Gwinnett Braves. I think because they're that close to Atlanta, people are going to be like, oh, this is, the Braves AAA team. Let's go watch Francoeur. And that's how it's going to pan out probably. So, I hate to dish on Francoeur, but it's kind of funny though. Next email is from Dustin. It says, what do you project for the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs in the NBA? I'm going to take a stab at it. It's pretty much like a chalkboard kind of thing. You're going to go with Cleveland. I have Cleveland beating Chicago in the first round. I've got Boston defeating Detroit, Orlando defeating Philadelphia, and Atlanta defeating Miami. I really think the Hawks are going to win their first playoff series in the first time in God knows how long. And I think overall in the Eastern Conference, it's going to be Cleveland making it out. I think we're going to see a Cleveland and Los Angeles finals.
I agree with you in that aspect. I think it's going to be a Cleveland-Boston Eastern Conference finals, but all the other picks, I had it down the same way you did.
Yep. Next email is from Jody. It says, do you guys truly believe in the Madden Curse or the Sports Illustrated Curse? Sports Illustrated, not so much, because you see that's a weekly magazine, and every single week you see the stars on the magazine. Yeah. And, right before the Super Bowl, I think Big Ben was on there or something like that. I think Kurt Warner was on there too. And none of those guys end up getting cursed. Pujols has been on the cover 5 times, and nothing cursed about him. I hope that jersey doesn't fall again. But you look at the Madden Curse. You can't deny it. Yeah. I looked it up, and it's really kind of scary because it's a long list, but check this out. The last guys who were on Madden, going back to Barry Sanders, who in the next year retired. So they had to actually change the cover and put Dorsey Levens on there, who actually got hurt. Then you had Eddie George right after the Super Bowl, and then he had a god-awful year and got hurt. Culpepper ended up having knee injury after knee injury, and look where he's at now. Marshall Faulk was on there. He was probably the one who wasn't as cursed, but he did have kind of a down year coming off of a really great one. Michael Vick, we don't even need to go there. The first preseason game, he gets his leg broken. Ray Lewis was on there. And he had a pretty bad year that year and got hurt. McNabb was on there, then he got hurt. Sean Alexander, the MVP season, went to the Super Bowl, and then the next year, where was he at? Where are they now, File? And then Vince Young, we all know about that whole detrimental thing that happened. And then Brett Favre, and look what happened to him. It breaks down at the end of the season with the Jets. So the Madden Curse is real. Don't be on that cover.
Definitely.
Just do that's why they have the downloadable covers now where people can create their own thing. That's really what they do. Next email is going to be from Jesse. It says, would you rather be a pitcher in the dead ball era or a hitter in the steroid era, a.k.a. live ball era? That's an intriguing question, but I would actually rather be a pitcher in the dead ball era, because I don't think, like, you think of live ball era, steroid era, you think of like Barry Bonds hitting 73 homers in a season, and that's cool and everything, but to me, I like to look at Bob Gibson in 1968, a 1.12 ERA, 30 complete games. I think he had 13 shutouts that year. We go to the World Series. A pitcher in the dead ball era, the stats you could put up, I mean, you just every day you just set them down.
I agree with you. I'd rather be a pitcher in the dead ball era. And the biggest thing about that is there's no cheating in the game then, and these guys have respect for the game then, and more glory, I think, would go into it because there's no cheating, and because, I mean, you're like you said, Bob Gibson, 30 complete games. When was the last time you saw that happen?
Never. And the ERA 1.12, that won't happen again. Actually, the next year they had to lower the mound, actually, after that. That's a fact.
Next email is from Brian. Ryan, looking at the magnitude of each Super Bowl moment, which catch would you consider the best? Tyree's in Super Bowl 42 or Holmes's in Super Bowl 43? Well, I got my boy Holmes, his jersey behind me, but you know, I think it's easy for me to be biased here. It was a great catch that Holmes made, but at the same time, the Steelers still had 2 more chances to get in the end zone. But Tyrese, however, under the circumstances, against the undefeated Patriots, I think that catch was much more dramatic. And being the way that he caught it on the helmet, I think it's one of the greatest catches ever, if not the greatest catch ever.
I agree exactly with you. I think either way, you're looking at 2 of the greatest catches in NFL history. Tyree, though, I got to go with that. There's 1:15 left in the game. They were down 14-10, 30-plus yard reception on the completion, and Manning was surrounded by all these Patriots who were about to take him down, and his jersey gets ripped. Somehow he finds his freedom and throws one down the field. Lucky catch. It was amazing, but I'm going to have to say Tyree, but I think Holmes, this was pretty awesome as well. One last email that we're going to fit in because I thought it was just kind of ironic. We got an email from Alex. It says, Dear Brian, as the NBA regular season has reached its home stretch, the MVP race is heating up. Who do you think deserves the award this year, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Dwight Howard? And I just thought that was ironic because we got that. And we had already decided to do a segment on that. And again, I will go with Kobe.
I'm going with King James.
I almost went with LeBron because you pretty much convinced me in the last segment. Gutter ball fact for this show. Manchester United fan drives 400 miles to meet Emma from Facebook, and it turned out to be a prank from Liverpool fans. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's a good rivalry there, and you know, I've never done anything like that to a Cleveland Browns fan, but I mean,
it's a good idea, though.
It's a good idea.
That is really funny. So I think it's all in good sportsmanship. I think it makes that guy look stupid, though.
That's going to wrap up the email portion, and we'll move on to our controversial list of most overrated athletes on the last segment of 3 and Out Ever.